discuss the questions 61 to 120, okay, with explanations also. Kuzo Kazuo Ishiguro writes novels in English. Points to remember: he is best known for his novels The Remains of the Day and Never Let Me Go, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize in the year 2017. Next question. Trust thyself, every heart vibrates to that iron string. This is a quote from Emerson. Okay, here Emerson tells, the self-reliance can only take us so far. Next question. Leaves of Grass is a work by Walt Whitman. Leaves of Grass is a poetry collection by the American poet Walt Whitman, published in 1855. The poet, at the inauguration of John F. Kennedy as President of the US, was read by Robert Frost. The Gift Outright by Robert Frost is an inaugural poem. Frost was the first poet ever to read a work at the presidential inauguration. Uncle Tom is a character in a work by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Uncle Tom's Cabin is an anti-slavery novel published in 1852 by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Invisible Man is a work by Ralph Ellison. Invisible Man is the story of a young college-educated black man struggling to survive, in which the society that refuses to see him as a human being. It was published in 1952. And remember, The Invisible Man is a work by J.H. Wells, published in 1897. It is a science fictional novel. Okay, don't mix up with this. Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison, The Invisible Man, W.H. Wells. Next question. I have spent many days stringing and unstringing my instrument while the song I came to sing remains unsung. These lines are by Rabindranath Tagore in Gitanjali, poem number 13. The first poet to win Sahitya Akademi Award for English poetry was Jayant Mahapatra. In 1981, Jayant Mahapatra won Sahitya Akademi Award for his book Relationship. Okay, next point or next question we have to discuss is, yes, Hukum Chand, Iqbal Singh and Jugat Singh are characters in the work by Khushwant Singh. Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. It tells the tragic tale of the partition of India and Pakistan and events that followed. Salman Rushdie's novel Republic in 2017 is The Golden House. The Golden House, Rushdie tells a tale of Mumbai family hiding with a new identity under a mysterious veil of danger in New York City. Girish Karnad wrote the plays in English and Kannada. The Lion and the Jewel is a work by Wolso Inca. The jewel refers to Siddhi, a young girl who is trying to decide which man she wants to marry. Azora, the spirit child, is a character created by Ben Okri. The play The Famished wrote, winner of Booker Prize when it was published in 1991, a novel by post-colonial Nigeria. Four main characters: Azora, the father, mother, and Madam Koto of the bar owner. Okay, this Famished Road is by Ben Okri. The Wretched of the Earth is an influential work by Frantz Fanon, a landmark text for revolutionaries and activists. The Wretched of the Earth is an essential touchstone is an eternal touchstone for civil rights, anti-colonialism, and psychiatric studies, and Black consciousness movement around the world. Next question. A Far Cry from Africa is a work by Derek Walcott. A Far Cry from Africa responds to the Mau Mau uprising, a rebellion fought by the native Kenyan against the British colonial army in the mid of the 20th century. The Risk Sister by Highway is a play. The Risk Sister, 7 women travels from India Reserve to Toronto in order to participate the biggest bingo in the world. Each woman has her own dreams of what winning of bingo jackpot will bring them. It's a two-act play by Thomas Hyle. The English Patient and Coming Through Slaughter are the work by Michael Ondaatje. The Moving Image and the Birds are collection of poetry by Judith Wright. Judith Wright has been called the conscience of the nation for her commitment to the environment and Aboriginal land rights. Patrick White, the Nobel laureate, was an Australian. The Australian Patrick White has been awarded 1973 Nobel Literature Prize for an epic and a psychological narrative art which has introduced a new content into literature. Lejja is the work by Taslima Nasrin. Lejja is a response of Taslima Nasrin to anti-Hindu riots that erupted in the parts of Bangladesh soon after the demolition of the Babri Masjid in India on 6th December 1992. IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet. The term refers to the influence of an sound segment upon the articulation of another so that the two sounds become alike or even identical is assimilation, a word element that can be attached either to the beginning, the middle, the root, or the base of a word to form a new word is called affix. The branch of linguistics that is concerned with the meaning is known as semantics. The original language from which the Indo-European family is believed to have descended is known as Proto-Indo-European. Old English is also known as Anglo-Saxon. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote in Middle English. Lowland and Pandemonia are the words believed to have been coined by John Milton. Languages formed by attempts at communication by two mutually unintelligible speech communities can be called pidgin. The notion of world Englishes was propounded by Brij B. Kachru. The psychology of learning, which is focused on intelligence and inner mental activities, is cognitivism. The context of language learning, RFT, refers to rational frame theory. The official language of the country are listed in the schedule of the Constitution of India in the 8th schedule. ESL refers to language as English as second language. ESL refers to English as a second language. The method of language teaching where students learn a close-knit community with the teacher counselor is CLL. The method of language teaching where students learn in a close-knit community with the teacher counselor is CLL. Match the subtitles alternative titles with the titles of their works. Tess of the Tess of the D'Urberville, Thomas Hardy. The subtitle, A Pure Woman Faithfully Pretended. A Pure Woman Faithfully Presented is the subtitle. Next, 2. She Stoops to Conquer, the work by Oliver Goldsmith. The subtitle Mistake of a Knight. Pamela, Virtue Rewarded by Samuel Richardson. The Importance of Being Honest, Oscar Wilde. A Trivial Comedy. Subtitle A Trivial Comedy for Serious People. Next question. In language teaching at the elementary and the secondary level, the best lesson can be dynamic. The best lessons are dynamic. In language teaching at the elementary and the secondary level, the best lesson plans are dynamic. CALL refers to CALL, Computer Assisted Language Learning. A test designed to assess the current state of a student's ability or progress is diagnostic. Mother tongue interference refers to the influence of L1 on L2. Mother tongue interference refers to the influence of L1 on L2. The purgation of pity and error through art is known as catharsis. The distinction between fancy and imagination is discussed in Biographia Literaria. The theory of impersonality of the poet was put forward by T.S. Eliot. Seven Types of Ambiguity is a work by William Epson. Identify the writer who was not a Russian formalist. Boris Pasternak. Pasternak was not the Russian formalist. Antonio Gramsci's ideas on Marxist theory can be found in the work of Prison Notebook. Antonio Gramsci's ideas on Marxist theory can be found in the works of Prison Notebook. The Raw and the Cooked is a work by Claude Lévi-Strauss. The Raw and the Cooked is a work by Claude Lévi-Strauss. Jokes and their relation to the consciousness. Unconscious was a work by Sigmund Freud published in 1905. Jokes and their relation to the unconscious was a work by Sigmund Freud published in 1905. Narrative as a socially symbolic act completes the title The Political Unconsciousness. Identify the work that is not by Jacques Derrida. Being and Nothingness. This work is by Being and Nothingness by Jean-Paul Sartre. In the work Towards Feministic Poets, Ellen Showalter traces the history of women's literature in Europe in three phases, which are feminine, feminist, and female. Gender trouble, feminism, and the subversion of identity, and the bodies that matter on the discursive limit of sex are works of Judith Butler. Next question. Eurocentric prejudice against Asian and Arabic Islamic people or culture are examined by Edward Said in Orientalism. Eurocentric prejudices against Asian and Arab Islamic people and culture are examined by Edward Said in Orientalism. The Empire Right Back with a Vengeance. The Empire Right Back with a Vengeance is an epic by Salman Rushdie. Actually, it's an article. Okay, the title refers to Salman Rushdie in 1982 article. In addition to being a pun on the film Star Wars, The Empire Strike Backs, the phrase refers to the way of post-colonial voices responds to the literary canon of the colonial center. Okay, next question. The Political Shakespeare, edited by Dollimore and Singfield is a collection of essays in cultural materials. Akarmashi is the autobiography of the Sharan Kumar Limbale, a Marathi writer. Next question. Dynamic equivalence and formal equivalence are terms relation to the concept of translation. Culture is Ordinary is a piece by Raymond Williams. Eric Form presents the reinterpretation of the story of Adam and Eve. The last question. The Vakroti Siddhanta was postulated by Kundaka. Okay, friends, thank you for hearing the discussion class of the previous question, which was conducted in 2018. So, study hard and do your best for the coming examination. Thank you. We will meet soon in the next class.